afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday afternoon, which means it's time for my lunch, so I'm bringing you along for the ride. As you can see by the title, we are making shrimp quesadillas. The actual title of this recipe is, let's get it. Shrimp quesadillas with stuffed avocados, and we are using the Skinnytaste One and Done cookbook by Gina Homolka. I have used before on here the Skinnytaste meal prep book, which I really like, and I'm going through this one and her slow cooker book too. I mean, it's not all slow cooker recipes, it's called Slow and Fast, but I just really like her recipes because they're clean and easy to make, and you can make them as super healthy or as unhealthy as you want. Like, you know, this recipe's like, you know, use reduced fat Mexican cheese blend and that'll reduce your calories and your unhealthy fat intake. But, you know, you could also use regular, and you could use a gluten-free tortilla in this. It can be a gluten-free recipe, or you could use one of those carb smart high fiber tortillas, a corn tortilla, a regular tortilla, whatever you would like. So I love that you can really mess with these recipes and make them fit your lifestyle or your dietary needs. So what we're actually making is, I was telling Marie about this. I was like, it's like a shrimp salad, but it's not. It's actually a shrimp salsa is what we're making. And then this shrimp salsa, she shows you what you can do. There are two applications of it. You can stuff it into an avocado or make a quesadilla out of it. So, yum. So what I have here is already ready to go is some shrimp chopped up, some very finely diced red onion, and tomatoes and jalapeno peppers. Of course, this calls for fresh jalapenos, and I don't have that. I have the jarred pickled ones from when I made that Mexican pizza, like way in January. So I think the pickled ones are a little spicier to me, and they don't taste the same. Fresh, any kind of fresh pepper or jalapeno tastes so different than this pickled preserved kind, but it's fine. So basically this kind of just goes together and then sits for a little bit, but not even, I mean, once you have prepped all of your stuff, so between cooking the shrimp and dicing all of this, I think I only spent 15, maybe, if even, minutes on my meal prep here. The shrimp, it took a while for them to defrost, but I didn't have to babysit them, so I started defrosting them earlier today while I did my work over back there. So the rest of it actually only took a couple minutes, which is great. So what we have to do first is make this shrimp salsa. So we're starting with the onion, and I'm doing small portions because I'm just making lunch for myself. I'm not making a big to-do. The recipe that is in this cookbook and currently posted on our website for this week serves, I believe, 4. So 4 people could each have a quesadilla and an avocado, which is not a bad deal. So, I have one here. So let me get a spoon, but I have one here. It's what I use to scoop out the avocado. So we're going to start with the red onion. Get in there. Some lime juice. She suggests the juice of an entire lime. I don't have that. And again, I'm making a smaller portion, so I'm just going to... You kind of want this acid and this... That's it. That's my lime juice. Lime juice. I have lemon in the fridge, it's okay. The acid and the onion to kind of hang out together and marinate a little bit. And we're also going to use some salt. So this needs to sit for a few minutes. So I'll show you, the avocado is prepped already. So I'll show you that. I mean, it's just an avocado, I know, but... And I'll show you the cookbook a little bit while we wait for this, just to get itself going. it'll kind of soften the acid in the lime juice will kind of soften the onions a little bit as also, and we just want that salt to start working and permeating through those membranes in there. At least I think that's the science behind it. So I did already get my tortilla. I'm just doing one. I'm going to fold it over like a little quesadilla. So look at this, where the pit was. That's a great spot to stuff in some shrimp salsa, or you could do like a buffalo chicken salad would be really good. So you just use like a nice big spoon, and you can very cleanly take the avocado out of the skin, and then it's a perfect little vessel. I've also seen, and I have not been successful doing this, where you can put an egg, a raw egg, in this little hole and then bake it. It never works for me because there's always too much egg and not enough hole here from the avocado pit and from the seed, and it just always overflows everywhere and it makes a mess. It's a very nutritious breakfast or snack or lunch, what have you, but it just doesn't work for me. Alright, so I'll show you around the cookbook just a little bit so you can see. As usual, she has a little guide with this cookbook that kind of shows you, okay, is it gluten-free? Is it fast? Is it okay for the freezer? Which I love. Let me see if I can find that. There it is. There's a little key for every recipe. And so, is it quick, ready in 30 minutes or less? Is it vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, or freezer-friendly? And that's in the meal prep book. There are some other codes, because just that book is all about, is it freezer-friendly? Can you do it ahead of time? How does that work? So I'll show you what the chapter opener for the chapter where I got this one. So you can see it's labeled quick and can be gluten-free depending on your tortillas. So you can see this chapter is all about skillet recipes. So one and done. So it's either in your Instant Pot, slow cooker, air fryer, sheet pan, skillet, Dutch oven, and it's just supposed to be like one pan. Like, you don't really need to pull out a million dishes and bowls, couple of different pans. You don't need to move it from one spot to another. This is supposed to be easy. So you can see there are all different recipes with all different codes. So you can see, Mom's skillet chicken pot pie, that can go in the freezer. So you can make that ahead of time or use it for leftovers. The beef bibimbap bowls are dairy-free. The garlicky shrimp, that's dairy-free. Summer veggie zucchini noodles with burrata, vegetarian. So there are just so many options in here. And I really like this cookbook a lot. I like all of her cookbooks. She has a great website as well. Okay, so now we're going to mix in the rest of the ingredients. The shrimp, which again I've already cooked, the tomatoes and the jalapeno. And you're supposed to use some fresh cilantro. I don't have any fresh cilantro. I don't have any, well, I have some mint frozen in the refrigerator and some lemongrass, but that's not for this recipe. So parsley is a really good substitute for cilantro. And again, I don't have fresh parsley, so I'm just going to use some dried parsley. But you do want this kind of herb, parsley or cilantro. Really livens it up. You do need a little seasoning. You can't just rely on the shrimp and the tomatoes itself, right? We love to have things nice and seasoned. And there's already salt in here, so we don't need to re-season it with salt. Why not parsley? It doesn't want to come out, so I'm just gonna shake it a little bit. And then, again, this is dried, but as it sits with all of this juice in here, it'll rehydrate a little bit and release some of its flavor. So what you're supposed to do now is kind of reserve some of this to the side for your quesadilla and go ahead and stuff your avocados. You can see this looks nice and colorful. It is somewhere between like a salad and a salsa. Really nice. It smells great. It smells so nice and fresh and delicious. You can smell the onion. I can smell those pickled jalapenos. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll show you how to stuff the avocado. It's so simple. And then she says, now the rest that you set aside, you have to drain. I didn't use that much lime juice. If you are following the recipe exactly, you will have a lot of excess liquid, and you don't want your tortilla to get soggy when you're making the quesadilla, right? So, but I don't need to do that. I don't really have a lot of excess liquid in here. Very, very little. All right, so I'm gonna move some of these things to the sink. So easy, quick and easy. And I'm going to use just a half teaspoon of oil in my pan. I'm gonna get that heating up right now while I stuff this so I can get my tortilla and my cheese on there. This is a fast moving recipe, I'm telling you. Just a little bit of avocado oil in here. She suggests using a spray oil, but I find it's easier to control how much oil I'm using. When I do it like this, then you let it heat up and you can swirl it around to evenly coat your pan, which is nice. Alright, so I'm just going to let that heat up, and then I'll get the tortilla down there when the oil heats up. So, really easy. We're just going to put a little bit of salt. Can you see? There's my avocado. Okay. So you're going to put a little bit of salt on your avocado. It cuts through that rich, creamy flavor and texture, right? So avocado is a really healthy, good for you fat, and it's nice and creamy. A lot of people use it as a dairy replacement in like smoothies, or you can make buttercream frosting with avocado. It's true. I saw it on Good Eats. You can put it in baked goods. You can put it, sorry, there's a stray piece of hair. I'm sorry. You could put it in lots of different applications to make things kind of creamy and dense and amazing. But we need a little bit of salt to cut through that, right? So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt on here. You don't need to overdo it. And I'm going to get a nice scoop of my shrimp salsa, and I'm just going to make sure that I get a little bit of everything in here. And it just goes right in there. It makes a little bit of a mess. Okay. Again, how do people fit so much stuff in these avocado pit holes? I don't know. But there you go. You can mess with it a little bit. See, I'm going to be a food styler and just kind of put that in there. I'm going to swirl my oil around. Now that it's gotten nice and hot, you can see it's moving in. We just want to make sure the tortilla gets a little brown, a little crispy on the edge. But we're going to make sure it's a low heat. We don't want anything to burn. So we want this tortilla to get a little crispy. I'm going to go ahead and put down this again. This is a Mexican blend shredded cheese. And you can use the full fat version, you can use reduced fat, whatever your dietary needs are, that totally works. So I'm just going to put down my cheese here. She says just make sure that you don't get it too close to the edge because it'll leak out or it just won't fold correctly. So we're just going to do a little bit here. And then you plop the shrimp salsa right in there too. And then you just let it brown and you let the cheese melt and then you're done. That's it. This is definitely quick, under 30 minutes. She is not lying. I'm super pleased with that. And again, I mean, even though I kind of tried to cut down the recipe a little bit, I didn't. I have like a serving and a half here, so I'll have a little bit just to snack on myself. So cheese is starting to melt. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this shrimp salsa right in the center here. Well, actually, I should probably do it off to the side because I'm going to flip this, right? Again, poor planning, Alyssa. Okay. All right, I'm going to put this off to the side because I'll flip this over the top. Make sure I get like an even distribution of all of the ingredients in here, right? Oops. Well, you don't want to overfill it, but all right, we're good. Right, and then I have a little left over for me to snack on. And I'll grab my spatula here. gonna go ahead and close this. Again, if you're using 2 tortillas, I'm only using the 1. You would just put your other tortilla right on top there, and then you flip them back and forth if you are more skilled than I am at flipping things in the pan. So I just want my cheese to melt and this to get a little crispy around the edges, she says. Remember, we don't want to char this tortilla. That's not the name of the game for this one. Just want it to get nice and crispy, adds a little bit of flavor. That's why we put just a little bit of oil in here, and we're keeping the heat nice and low. How are we looking there, buddy? And it'll just kind of warm everything up a little bit too. I'm gonna actually go in for a taste of the shrimp salsa on its own, because I actually haven't tasted it, I realized, but I mean, it should be fine, right? Usually I save the big taste reveal for the end, but I kind of want to taste the salsa on its own. Some jalapeno in there. Let's see. This is a great combination of flavors. The shrimp really needs that brightness from the tomatoes and the flavor from the onions. The salt and the lime juice and the jalapenos just kind of make it go pop. So it's actually a really, really great flavor combination. Should we see if I can flip this so we can get this side a little more brown? Let's see. Boom! Not that bad. And again, mine didn't have that much lime juice, so it's not leaking, and my salsa, my tortilla is not getting soggy, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I think this is pretty much warmed through and brown, so I'm going to turn off the heat and let that sit. I'm going to have another bite of this because I'm hungry and it's delicious. It is really good. And the parsley is fine. Again, you don't need cilantro, and it doesn't need to be fresh. If you only have dried herbs right now, that's fine. It's really good. Put that in the sink. I'm gonna get my, do I have my pizza cutter? Yeah. I'm gonna get my little rotary pizza cutter and cut it in half. I want you to see it's nice and brown and it's nice and crispy. You can probably hear. So good. And the other side got nice and brown too, but it's not overly done. And again, she does say you just want it to be lightly brown. You don't want to overdo it. That bitter burn flavor is not what we're going for here. So I'm just gonna, do you hear that crunch? Great. Just a little bit of oil will do that. You don't need a lot of oil to make this happen in your pan. Ooh, this looks so good. Wow. Oh yeah, there's a little juice coming out, but look at that. That is amazing. Tomatoes and the onions and the jalapenos and a little bit of cheese. This is restaurant quality, and again, super quick. This is probably the fastest episode of Book Cooks we've ever had, and I'm okay with that because I'm hungry for lunch. All right, let's take a taste. Wow. It's really, really good. Wow. And you know what? The flavor of the cheese isn't overdone or too much. You know, you kind of think like cheese and fish or shrimp. I don't know about that, but it just adds another layer of tang and creaminess to hold it all together. It doesn't taste cheesy, but again, you saw I didn't use that much. I didn't pile it on, and it's not just a regular cheese quesadilla. It was just a little bit. And wow, it just holds it all together, and it adds a little bit of tang. Again, it brightens up that shrimp flavor, and it works really well in harmony with the tomato and the onions and the jalapenos. Really good. This is great. Excuse me while I chew. And then I'm going to go ahead and try the avocado as well to see how it pairs with that creamy avocado. A little hard to like cut up and serve, but okay. We're getting messy here. It's fine. There we go. Wow. That is it. That is so good. That's amazing. It's exactly what I thought it was gonna be with those tart, pickled, fresh flavors of the onion, the lime juice, cutting through that fat. And it tastes so good with the shrimp. What a great pairing with this shrimp salsa and this avocado. That is outstanding. This is a really great lunch for me, and I'm super excited. Look at that. Homemade. And it's $12.22. If I weren't chatting, and if I were maybe a little bit faster of a skilled chef with my knife work there, cutting my onions and tomatoes, this would have been well under 30 minutes. This is really easy. And again, if you're defrosting your shrimp, if you're not buying it already cooked, you just let that sit in your sink while you do your work or whatever you have to do. You don't need to let your protein take up your time. Really great. So again, as usual, I love these cookbooks. They're so good. We may cook from one of the other ones next week because I have this one, and then, like I said, the slow cooker book. But of course, I'm not going to show you slow cooker. We can't do that. We can't do 8 hours of book cooks. So I might use one of the fast recipes. Or another one from this one. I just really like her recipes. They're, like I said, clean, easy, fast, delicious, and easy to customize. So I love that. So thanks to Gina Homolka. Skinnytaste also has a great website. If you're interested in this cookbook or any others, come make an appointment to browse at the library. We have an amazing cookbook section. Amazing. It's our most popular nonfiction section in the library. Those books are going out constantly. We have a couple of her books. Her books are also, I have the air fryer one on reserve on Libby, so I know some of her books are also on Libby if you are interested in using her books digitally. They take up less space. You don't need to worry about going back and forth to the library or renewing it. It's on there. There's always a little bit of a hold. They're very popular, but they're on there as well if you prefer a digital copy. So that is it. If you need any help finding any other cookbooks or cookbook suggestions, you know where to find me. My email is on the front page of our website. And I'm gonna go finish this amazing lunch, and I hope I've inspired everybody to have a delicious meal today. We all deserve it, and I hope your meals are as delicious as this one is. All right, so I will see you next time, everyone. Bye.